Hello everyone, welcome to Astronomy Coffee for this Monday, the 9th of October, and I am home today because I have been sick, and I've been sick for the past week, and I don't know what's going on with me, but it's not COVID, so I don't know. But what will we be covering today? The cosmic web has been imaged for the first time. It's a big historical first. There's more talk about this mysterious planet X, and Baily's beads. What are Baily's beads? On the next Astronomy and Coffee, there might be an intro here, there might not be an intro here. Let's see. Well, here we are back at home here for Astronomy and Coffee with a very special guest. Buddy. Oh, come here. Oh, goodness gracious. My good buddy Billy Zane the Demon Knight. Oh, Billy Zane. Don't want to sit on my lap. That's okay. Call him Billy Zane the Demon Knight because before he was able to get close to us humans, you'd see these yellow eyes out by my shed where I keep all my tools and stuff. Just these yellow eyes out in the darkness. It was very creepy. But now Billy Zane is being taken care of here. Numerous vet visits. He's doing quite well. Anyways, let's get right into Astronomy and Coffee. This isn't a cat show. So, yes, they were able to image the cosmic web. Well, what is the cosmic web and why is this such a big deal? Well, first of all, let's think of it this way. Let's take a look at how to look at this. If you look up at the nighttime sky, you will see stars and even some galaxies if you know where to look. And these things will appear to seem in random order, but that is not really the case. There is, in fact, a structure to the universe, and this structure is called the cosmic web. Well, the cosmic web is composed of massive filaments of galaxies separated by giant voids. And these filaments are actually interconnecting with each other, and they help feed galaxies. So, think of it like this. Think of it like Christmas lights. Each bulb represents a galaxy or a star. Each bulb is connected with a cord. And the cord is what this cosmic web is. So the cord we are now able to see thanks to Caltech and their cosmic web imager. They were able to finally see the filaments, or some of the filaments of this cosmic web, thanks to the illumination and the backlight of this intense light from a quasar. So they were inspired by this, and they figured out a way to view more of these filaments without having to rely on quasars. And they came up with a method called spectroscopy. Well, didn't come up with that method, but they used the method of spectroscopy. This splits light from the distant universe into its constituent colors. And what you have here is this tree-like branching. This tree-like branches that you see here represents emission from gas located at different points in space and time. So, why is this exciting? Because now we have a whole new way of studying and looking at and examining the universe. So, it is, in fact, a historic first. Well, continuing on here, have you ever seen the movie Melancholia by Lars von Trier? I have, starring Kirsten Dunst. Well, Planet X has been talked about for many years, and Melancholia deals with Planet X. In the movie, you have Earth, people on Earth, and there's this rumor that this Planet X is getting close to us, and finally, yes, in fact, it does get close to us, and there's this hypothesis that when it does pass us, the gravitational pull and the gravitational influence of Earth will affect its path, and it might come back around, and in fact, it does come back after it orbits past us. The Earth has this gravitational effect on this rogue planet, and it comes back around, it swings back, and bad stuff happens. See it for yourself, no spoilers. That's just the premise of the movie there. Well, Planet X and the discussion of Planet X is back in the news, and for years people have been using this Planet X as a sort of catch-all terminology to sort of explain away and kind of look at these orbital perturbations and these odd orbital paths of certain objects. For example, I remember back in the day, I don't remember back in the day, but I remember seeing about this, that there was, at one point after the discovery of Mercury, they thought that the orbit of Mercury was a little strange, so they thought that maybe there was another planet closer to the sun called Vulcan. that was not the case. They discovered that the sun has a influence on the space-time and the warping of space-time, and this helped explain the strange nature of Mercury's path. Then there was some discussion on Neptune, and there's some discussion on some other objects past Neptune, which appear to be clumping together, and now we're looking at Sedna. So yeah, Planet X is back in the news here, and so yeah, there's this hunt for Planet X for quite some time here. And they found that this planet, this potential planet, might have an influence on Neptune as well as Sedna, this sort of planetoid object in our solar system. Well, whenever Sedna was discovered, it was believed that a Planet X had skewed its orbit. Now, new work presented by the University of British Columbia says that if a large object like Planet X existed to have affected the orbital path of Sedna, then it would have had to left our solar system 4.5 billion years ago. That's billions with a B. So using a computer program to run back the orbital paths in time for billions of years, they found that indeed at some point the three sednoid objects in question said to be affected by Planet X did cluster together and then set into their orbital paths that we currently know today. However, they also found that nothing affected these orbital paths for some 4 billion years since. So, in other words, there's no undiscovered planet to be found today. The hypothesis is that there was this primordial planet that was the culprit in disturbing these sednoid objects and planets, these sednoid planetoids, but this was ejected from our solar system 100 million years after its formation. So if the planet did exist, it no longer orbits within our solar system, but now orbits the galaxy instead. This rogue planet out there just sort of meandering about the Milky Way galaxy. Other theories are being bandied about, but it's interesting to bring up because they're saying if there was in fact a Planet X, it is long gone by now. And that brings me to Baily's beads.
Bees?
Beads.
Beads?
Have you ever heard of Baily's beads? It's not a lip balm. It's something you can see during an annual solar eclipse, which is coming up this October 14th. And you can come by the Louisiana Art and Science Museum at a Yazoo Plaza to see me. And I will be out there with some binoculars with solar filters on them, a telescope, which currently I don't have the right stuff for, but there's still a part of it that you can look through, and some solar viewing glasses as well. So if you're in the area this Saturday, October 14th, come and view the annular solar eclipse with me. We are not in the path of the annular solar eclipse, so we're going to see a portion of it. It's a partial annular solar eclipse, so this segment of Baily's beads doesn't really apply, but it's good to know if you're ever on Jeopardy or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Here's some information on it right now about what Baily's beads are. Well, last week we did talk about the difference between an annular solar eclipse and a total solar eclipse. An annular solar eclipse happens when the moon is further away from us because the orbit of the moon around Earth isn't perfectly circular. Sometimes it's a bit further out, and when it's a bit further out and we have an eclipse, it doesn't cover the totality of the total of the sun. Instead, we get this ring around the moon, this ring of fire around the moon. And these beads, these Baily's beads, is what you can observe from a telescope, and you can see these fine little peaks and valleys along this ring of fire around the moon. Well, what do you think these beads are? I'm showing you right here. Well, these are called Baily's beads, named after Francis Baily, who chronicled his experience during the annular eclipse of 1836. I wasn't the first to see these, but he was the first to talk about them and write about them in great detail. I'll give you a second to think about what these beads are, these hills and valleys that you can see here from the backlit sun here. Well, both Baily and Edmund Halley both correctly identified the cause when they attributed them to the topography along the moon's limb. These are mountains and valleys that either block or reveal the solar photosphere behind. So that's what it is. So Edmund Halley did first remark about this effect, but since Francis Baily was the first to write about it in great detail, they have forever been known as Baily's beads. So If you're watching the annular solar eclipse this year, you might be able to see it for yourself if you are in the path of the annular solar eclipse, which we are not. So we will see a partial annular solar eclipse. But if one day you are, then take a look out for Baily's beads. Still, it is interesting to know if you're ever on a game show and you were struck with this question of what Baily's beads are. You might be able to score yourself some more valuable points or money, and you can thank me later in a Christmas card. Well, that, folks, let's wrap this up. Talk about some upcoming things we have at the museum. There is the Halloween Day at the museum coming up October 28th. That Saturday is going to be this Saturday, no, not this Saturday, but it is the Saturday, October 28th. It is going to be hands-on activities from 12 to 5, special Halloween-themed planetarium shows like Mummies, we have Fright Light, we have the Astronomical World of Harry Potter again, a fan favorite, and we have a show called not the Astronomical World, it is the Worlds Within Star Wars. Now, it's not an official Star Wars show, it is a show that looks at the fictional worlds within the universe of Star Wars and examines whether or not we have some real world counterparts to those fictional worlds in our own known galaxy. So other than that, we have the Astronomical World of Harry Potter, which also is a live show by me, and there are some hands-on activities involved in this in which you make your own. We paint your own wand, and then you'll use that wand with me as we do some planetarium magic out there to enlarge objects, to transport ourselves to different places and stuff. So that is going to be Saturday, October 28th. Hands-on activities, Leaky Cauldron Bar, where we will have some butterbeer and some every flavored beans, a selfie station, some things to do like making your own monster bookmarks. We're going to have a raffle. If you have tickets for the Harry Potter show, I'll be giving away a monster book of monsters, a little plush monster book of monsters. And the FIFA parade will begin at 4 o'clock. So the Harry Potter show is at 3 o'clock. The Fright Light is at 4 o'clock. So if you don't want to do the parade, you can do the Fright Light laser show at 4 o'clock. And also the annular solar eclipse, which is on October 14th. So some interesting things going on downtown Baton Rouge at the Louisiana Art and Science Museum. Hope you had a great day and hope you are feeling well. Not me, but I am going to go have myself some orange juice and take a nap. See you next week, y'all.